Hello everyone, just Goran here, and welcome back to another Planet Zoo real life inspiration video. And today we're looking at probably the strangest edition of the Eurasia Animal Pack, the Swan. And over here we're starting off in the Zonnegloed with probably my favorite habitat for this video, except that we can't see any swans in it. But this is a dedicated swan enclosure, which I can't say for most of the other ones, so that is really cool. This is a Mute Swan enclosure, I should specify, for starting off with all the Mute Swans. So over here in Zoo Veldhoven, you can see what happens more often. You'll have an enclosure for a different animal, in this case the red-crowned crane, and there'll just be a swan in there. So yeah, this is quite a nice enclosure, obviously, but there's a swan. I will say overall I don't have that great footage of swan enclosures, as we'll see over here in Kasteelpark Born, because when I'm out recording zoos, I'm doing one of two things. Either I'm recording the entire zoo and paying a bit of extra attention to some key animals that I think I'll need good footage of, or I'll just be filming habitats that I know I'll need for series like this, keeping future DLCs in mind by, recording key animals that I'm expecting to see in the game at some point. And I can tell you the swan wasn't one of those, especially not the Mute Swan, which for all I know might just be a wild animal, because they're everywhere in the Netherlands. I mean, today I was driving through the polder and with all the farmland around me, and there's swans fucking everywhere. I wish I had footage of it, but I mean, I was driving. But anyway, let's move on to other swans. Still in Kasteelpark Born, we can find the black swan over here in a very similar enclosure, if you can call it that. It's literally just a moat, but they are next to the emus, which is typical because you will often find these exotic swans in areas representing the country that they come from, like Australia area, South America areas, etc. Something that's also fun to point out here is these boards along the edge of the bridge. These are to protect the visitors, because yeah, these are some angry little boys. Swans can be quite aggressive, which is why when they posted the screenshot of the Mute Swan, I was like, haha, most dangerous animal in the game. Yeah, still a weird choice, but I'm really excited to have these more exotic swans in the game once modders get their go at using the Mute Swan, to create their own swans and perhaps even other things. But anyway, more black swans over here in Avifauna, where they are also in the Australia area in a moat. But at least here they're connected to this habitat, which has some cranes, I think also emu, so at least there's a bit more to the enclosure, I guess. But yeah, it is still kind of just swans chucked in another enclosure. Similar here at BestZoo, where we have these swans in a wallaby enclosure. I think these had offspring a couple of times, which is cute. But yeah, those are more black swans in a very nice enclosure. I really like this enclosure, actually. It's one of BestZoo's greatest. And then over here at Zooparc Overloon, I don't think these are here anymore, but at some point they were signed, at least. So I'm guessing there used to be black swan on this big lake over here in the outback area, which would be a very nice fit. It's very cool to see these species native to Australia in an Australia area like that. I think that's very cool. It actually teaches you something about these animals. So over here at Mondo Verde, there's another Australia area with a little pond over here. I'm not sure if that was for the swans. When I was here, the bird flu was very much still a thing. So over here, I think the swans were inside of this bird paradise, which I wasn't able to go inside of, thanks to the bird flu. So yeah, I didn't really get to see them, but I think maybe it gives you an impression. So next up, we have a bunch of black-necked swans over here at Van Blanckendael Park. We kind of get an exception to the rule, because these black-necked swans, which are from South America, are across from the giraffe enclosure, which is a bit strange, but at least it is a very nice enclosure. I really do like this enclosure. There's no other animals in here. This is dedicated to the swans, and I think that's pretty cool. So over here at AquaZoo Leeuwarden, more black-necked swans in a South American enclosures with Ria, and I think those are vicuna, if I'm not mistaken. I very much could be. Seriously, all those freaking llama type things, it's just one big soup in my brain. But this enclosure has a few different viewpoints from this side. You get to see a bit more, or at least I recorded a bit more. I don't quite remember what the view from the other place was that I didn't check out this side of the enclosure. But you can see they have a baby. Oh my god, so cute. But yeah, that's the black-necked swan. They have a very bulbous nose, which, hey, that reminds me of a different animal in the pack that we can't make a video of. Anyway, Zie-Zoo over here, also black-necked swan in the South America area. So this big enclosure for capybara, giant anteater, rhea. The swans are usually hanging around this big lake over here. You can kind of see them in the back swimming around a bit. Yeah, really quite cool. And also a species I really hope to see a mod of, because I mean, I've seen them in a lot of zoos. So last zoo that we're looking at today is Cologne. I probably have seen swans at other zoos, but it's so hard to find any footage of the stuff, because as I said, it's like when I'm at the zoo, I'm not thinking, oh, yes, swan enclosure, let's film that for a video. But yeah, the enclosure we just saw is the enclosure for the black-necked swan, but due to bird flu also being a thing, I mean, this was the same, this is literally the day after I went to Mondo Verde, so it was definitely still a thing here too. So all the waterfowl was kind of moved to these aviaries, including the swan, which you can see swimming around over there. But Cologne has so many enclosures for waterfowl that I really wanted to kind of show some of that as well. Of course, I could show a billion examples of this because like every zoo has stuff like this. But I had the footage for Cologne open and I saw this enclosure and I thought, wow, that's actually kind of inspiring and really cool. So I figured I'd show it. This could be a really cool swan enclosure. I mean, it's for like a ton of ducks, but it could be a cute Mute Swan enclosure. So take that for inspiration if you want to. On the other side as well here, it just looks really cool. I think it's a cool enclosure. And then the other side may have been a swan enclosure. On the map of the zoo, I saw some kind of swan on there, but I have no idea which type. There was also a crane. I don't know. Sorry for not filming swan enclosures too thoroughly. Next video will be the boar, where we're going to have a bit of a similar issue because I don't know why. I should have expected that one, but apparently I did not film that many boar enclosures. Like, I'm missing a bunch of footage from zoos that have boars where I should have seen them, but I can't find any footage of it, so whatever. We'll see what happens to that video when it comes out later this week. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the swans. Bye-bye.